Good morning, YouTube. Warbles on a lot here. Note the lack of the valve and the lack of the pressure gauge. Disconnection of the hose. That would be because somebody left this device full of water outside at night in winter, and it got down to -6 degrees, which proved to be the ruination of the valve and the gauge. And so a trip was made to the irrigation warehouse and $90.33 was spent acquiring a lovely overbuilt, over-engineered 0 to 350 psi gauge. And a daisy chain of adapters and connectors to suit for a total cost of $44. And for a mere $37.29 we get an anti-frost 25mm valve, which has a drain hole so that when it's switched off it empties itself, and when it gets frozen it's not full of water. A $93 lazy hillbilly oversight in not wrapping up the water cannon with a blanket and preparing it for winter. It's a good thing I already had my pink Kevlar plumber's thread sealing tape. Otherwise I might have had to spend $100. This is just finger tight at the moment, but it shows the theory of the operation. That's valve on, that's valve off, shut off. Of course it'll be in that orientation when it's in use, but here's the salient point. Take this off, and that shows you the hole which drains the body of the valve. So you don't actually have any water inside of there. And that drain hole is harmless when the valve is open. Clever, frost free. $37.29 worth of anti-frost Italian cleverness. I wonder how long it took them to come up with that little innovation. Cunning, real cunning. So, on we go. And that's not quite off, so I'm going to have to grind that further down to establish clearance for the handle of the valve. This is where the handle needs to come down to. About there. And the first thing we find is that to get clearance we got to take the valve off again. There. That's much more feasible. I can cut either side from that angle, I think, and I hope. Okay, let's hope this works. lot. Take a bit of a break here. Reconfigure the grinder. Right, I think I know how to do this. Right. Didn't get it totally right, but I didn't stuff it up entirely either. And before we move on, here's a thing I've only just noticed. Guess we made a couple of overcutsies while doing this cut here from this side. Didn't actually completely bugger up the fitting, but by geez, I went close. And now I know to pay particular attention with the next step, grinding out the middle chunk on both sides. Well, I think this is going to work. There you go. Done. Pity about the two little dings, but no actual harm done, I don't think. Pity about the metal filings that will have gone down there, but I didn't think about that. Fresh overlap of pink Kevlar, and there you go. Just like I bought one. Look at that. See? Safety pin goes over the top of the actuating handle. Hillbilly engineering. Crude, rough, effective, but it works. Kimosabi, it works. And now we begin. Come on. I know I'm old and clumsy and butterfingered, but I can do this. Bugging me. There we go. Okay. And then of course you come in for a little bit of work with a shifting spanner. And then repeat the procedure all the way out until the valve itself is airtight connected. Not rocket surgery. It's only compressed air you're dealing with. You see? Once again. Not quite like nesting Russian dolls, but it's getting close, isn't it? Okay. Final fitting. I think that will probably do it. Naught to 350 pounds per square inch, 2,500 kilopascals. And this thing's normally rated for 100 psi, but because it had a 19mm diameter hose on it when I bought it, I bought foolishly a 19mm diameter hose for it when I replaced the old hose with that hose, so therefore having 25% less lumen cross section in the hose, I generally pump this thing up to 125 psi, or 25% extra, to compensate for the narrowness of the hose. So it's a little bit of a calculated risk, an alligated risk perhaps. But anyway, that's what I do. 130 litres of water and 125, maybe 130 psi of compressed air, and that way you've got roughly the same water pressure at the nozzle, even though the hose is 25% narrower, because you've got 25% more grunt back at the air tank. So now we just firstly go and turn off the bloody noise making machine. And then wire brush that back down to bare metal. Give it a new coat of pretty pink Kevlar thread tape. I have to take the burrs off those little corners, but I'll do that with an ordinary hand file. Wrong one, bugger it. Just didn't film that. This is a bit more of the like it. I think I've gone too far too. Damn it. Well, that's a possibility too. That is a possibility. I think I'm going to have to pay attention to this and less to it. I'll tell you when it's a bit closer to being right. Right, try again with the burrs ground off. Fresh Kevlar on the top of the tank. Yet again we have a go at putting the valve on. Let's try. Will we try one more? Here's where we stop. Right there. And we'll try again with this one. Possible I should have stopped right there. There we go. Perfecto. And now we have another one. Needed cleaning and pinking. Before being going to be tricky. Hang on. This is noisy because I'm rotating the spigot inside the hose. And it's pretty easy to bang the bloody wheel rim. I have undone the hose clamp, but you need boiling water to fit these bloody hoses onto the spigot, so There. Now, all I got to do is tighten the hose clamp. And then it'll be ready to fill and pressurize. There we go. So here we go, and it was actually holding slight air pressure. What do you know about that? I won't leave that there because I don't want water on the file, do I? Anyway, that's the big meaty plug. Isn't it lovely? A bit of a cunning design. See, there's an O-ring down at the bottom there, and there's a sealing surface bevel cut into the top. The bottom O-ring seals against the flat bottom there, and then the top O-ring seals on the top bearing surface, and there's a hole drilled straight through from there. So if you try to undo the plug while it's full of compressed air vents out that hole, and another one on the other side. Compressed air from the threads will go into that hole and vent out through here and let you know that there's compressed air in there. So with a screwdriver shank to stop it from going, the neck of the bottle from going too far in and allowing a passage for air to come out so you don't get bubbling up through the funnel, and with a bit of plastic gauze in there to keep too many bits of debris out. Believe me, if I did not have that screwdriver shank to let the air out, it would bubble terribly. We're getting the occasional bubble coming up, but it ain't too bad. That's 10 litres. Okay, pretty close to being full up to this scratch mark here, which is the fill line. I don't have to worry about calculating that. Coming off the bottom of here, there's an open-ended pipe that comes down to here. So as soon as the water comes up to there, you can't fill it with any more, as this demonstration will prove. That's it, the fill tube is full. So now we have 130 litres of water in the tank, and I don't know how much of the hose is full of water and how much of it's full of air. My personal preference is to keep this thing with the hose full of water. No pressure in the hose, but water in the hose, because there might be 10 or 15 litres in that hose. And 10 or 15 litres extra water is not a thing to be sneezed at when you're only talking about 130 litres total capacity. That's, 10% of your available water, going up to 110%. So just like the extra air in the reservoir, I like to put a little bit extra water into the hose. So we pull our safety, and there we go. It only drops down a little bit. That hose saw acts like it's empty. So
we open the hose and we get some air coming out.
And the water level has dropped just a little bit.
So what I'm going to do is put the plug in, and then I'll put maybe 10 pounds per square inch of compressed air in, and then I'll switch on the water, and I will blow water from the reservoir through the hose, fill the hose, and then switch it off, and then top the reservoir back up.
Now I get to use my jet power. Look at that. 28 amps, 95 litres per minute.
And it gets hot, so we put it in the shade. And we discover the leads won't reach, but there's more shade over there.
There we go, in the shade,
within reach. Okay, we have not quite parallel, but we do have double air gauges. And we have bolts.
And the connection to the...
We have the radio off, we have the car out of gear. Okay, we have the alternator online.
Connections to the community.
We have the radio off again. There we go, 1200 RPM. I'm thinking. We have engine start. Okay, so we're showing 60 psi. That's a gauge. Not leaking, but not going in either. Wonder what's going on. Okay, so that says we've got 42 psi going in, and it says we've got 10 psi here, and that should be pretty much enough for me to run a watering test. And the alternator is maintaining 14 volts, 14.1 down to 13.8. Switch the motor off and we go down to 12.1. Okay, that's off. Now it says we've got 20 psi on the new oil fill gauge, and it says we've got 10, 20, 25 psi. According to the gauge on the compressor. Okay, the nozzle switched off. Right, so we've had a minor malfunction as well, and we're down to 5 psi. Okay, so now the next trick is to top it off, knowing that we've now got the hose full of water. Okay, 29 degrees, 30 degrees on the motor, 27 the back of the housing, 27 the crankcase, 27 the cylinder, 28 the cylinder head. Nice to have a baseline. Everything's all set up. I am expecting a good fill. 26.6, 25, 25, Solar panel is still kissing and making up to the battery for the last little engine run. 12.4 because some dickhead left the ignition on. Isn't it lovely having a car that does what it's asked? Okay, goodly goodly. Let's see how we go then. Okay. Why is that? Why is it doing that, I wonder? $34, 30.8, 32, 46, no, 30, 46, 76, 80. Coming up past 25 psi. We're showing 40 odd psi there, which is kind of interesting. Well, the fuse just blew. Shit a bugger bitch bum cunt fuck too. Hose just blew. Shit a bugger bitch bum cunt fuck too. Yeah, well, that hose blew there. It was not the fuse. To be honest, I'm going to have to call a halt to this video while I go and see whether I can fiddle with this and fix it and get it going again, or whether I need a whole new bloody hose. Such is life, Ned Kelly. Such is life, and the thing is, it's taken all bloody day to get this far done. You can do something or you can video it. What can I say? Ciao.